Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Hope you had a great Sunday with your family and friends. Tonight on the BamaInsider.com live stream on YouTube, we're going to talk Alabama's 56-14 victory over Louisiana Lafayette. We're going to talk the grades from this past week. We're going to talk the Tua's passing chart. I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to get your phone calls. We've got a lot planned on the BamaInsider.com live chat, so be sure and spread the word about our show and, of course, all our coverage back on BamaInsider.com. As we always do on the program, we're going to start off with Nick Saban's press conference, and we'll pipe in that in just a minute. And I want to get your thoughts tonight on this team going forward. As you guys saw, Alabama is a 35-point favorite taking on Arkansas in this next week. We will have staff in Fayetteville, Arkansas for Alabama taking on the Hogs, and 35-point favorite already early on for Alabama against Arkansas. So here's Nick Saban's press conference from Saturday after defeating Lafayette 56-14, and here is Nick Saban.
How's everybody today? Well, I was really pleased with the way our team came out and played today. I think that we've been working on having an identity as a team, that playing a little more physical, being a little more aggressive, being able to have better balance on offense, and I thought we, did a good job of that. I thought that, both quarterbacks played really well, executed well in the game. Thought the offensive line got a lot of movement up front. We had 4 or 5 backs that all, did a good job. We still made some explosive plays in the passing game, and defensively, I thought the first unit played really well. I think everybody responded and competed in the game like they should. But I was a little disappointed that we didn't play better with the second defense when they went in there for, more than a quarter of the game. We have too many guys on that group that really have to learn how to compete. They have to learn how to prepare, and they got to figure out what it takes to play, major college football. And so we'll go to work on that. It's going to be important to our team that everybody on the team buys into doing the things that they need to do at the standard that we want to do them, and we have a whole lot of guys on this team that's doing that right now, but we got to get everybody all in. So really played really well in the first half. Missed a couple opportunities in the second half when we drove the ball down there. Probably would have gone for it on a couple of those fourth down situations, but wanted to see if the kicker could, develop confidence, and obviously he missed 2 pretty easy field goals, so that was not what we had planned for him. But I know there's been a lot of talk around here about guys transferring and the transfer rule, and Jalen obviously handled this extremely well relative to being a great team player, a team leader, respecting his teammates, and sticking with the program here, and playing very well today and taking advantage of when he does have an opportunity to play well and try to create value for himself, which I think would be the message that I would send to all players out there who are trying to take advantage of this new rule.
Coach, we'll start over here on the left with Michael.
Jalen Waddle had a few big plays, big touchdowns. What did you see from his game, and what kind of dynamic does he bring to this offense?
Jalen's really made some explosive plays. Great punt return today. He's a really explosive guy as a receiver, and really has added depth to that core. And we're really, pleased with his development, and I think is a great addition to the depth of our team in terms of guys that can make explosive plays on offense. And we're pleased with the progress that he's made to this point, and we want him to continue to work on improving and being a little more consistent in other areas when he doesn't have the ball.
Go back over here with Ben.
Jalen Hurts had a couple of passes down the middle today, kind of sticking in the pocket there. Is that part of the progression that you've wanted to see from him?
Yeah, and I think he's made a lot of improvement in that area, and he did make some really good throws. He stuck in the pocket. He read, the coverages, and made some really good plays. And I think that's, one of the things that he realized because of, our offense and the job that Mike's doing, and having Dan Enos as a quarterback coach can really continue to help his development, for the future.
We'll see on this side.
All right, that was Nick Saban his opening comments against Louisiana Lafayette, Alabama, now 5-0 on the season, still number one in both the AP and coaches poll. Good evening. It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Hope you had a great Sunday with your family and friends. Alabama, 5-0, now 5-0, taking on Arkansas, 35-point favorite. Want to bring up the box summary of this game and go over it real quick as we get the show going forward, and I'll take your calls in just a minute. 205-686-3604. To open things up, Josh Jacobs scored his fourth touchdown of the season to put Alabama up 7-0. Henry Ruggs caught a 13-yard pass from Tua Tagovailoa to make it 14-0. Jalen Waddle, how about the game he had? 63-yard punt return to make it 21-0. In the first quarter, Josh Jacobs then scored his fifth touchdown, leads the team 28-0 at this point in the second quarter. Henry Ruggs caught a 54-yard pass from Jalen Hurts to make it 35-0. Najee Harris, who led the team in rushing, scored from 5 yards out to make it 42-0. Then Jalen Waddle caught a 20-yard touchdown pass from Tua Tagovailoa to make it 49-0. 56-0 after Jalen Waddle caught a 94-yard pass from Mac Jones. Actually, that's the second longest pass in Alabama history. That 94-yard pass by Mac Jones is also his first career touchdown for the redshirt sophomore. Louisiana Lafayette scored twice to make it 56-14, and that was your box summary. Here are the offensive stats from Week 4. Najee Harris led the team again in rushing. Check this out. Alabama hasn't had a 100-yard back since Week 2. Does that surprise you? I know the offense is completely different from the seasons past, but no more 100-yard backs. Najee Harris was the last to do it against Arkansas State. I believe he ran for 134 in that game. Against Lafayette, he ran for 75 yards off 11 carries. Brian Robinson, the Tuscaloosa native, 65 yards. Josh Jacobs, 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jerome Ford, no longer a redshirt. He's played his 5th game. Ran for 3 carries, 33 yards. Ran hard, in my opinion. Damon Harris, a seasoned senior, just 5 touches for 20 yards. Tua Tagovailoa had 12 yards. Jalen Hurts had 14. Ronnie Clark had 3 carries for 8 yards. Passing-wise, Tua Tagovailoa only needed 8 passes on the day, 8 for 8, 128 yards. It's unbelievable. Did you know? I put it in the comment box. He has not thrown a pass in the fourth quarter this season. Does that surprise? That's incredible. I've never been around a college football team where the starting quarterback has never had to throw a pass in the fourth quarter. It's mind-boggling. 8 for 8 on the day with 128 yards and 2 touchdowns, as long as 34 yards. Jalen Hurts 4 for 6 on the day, 118 yards with 1 touchdown. And Mac Jones gets in 1 for 2 on the day with a 94-yard touchdown pass. That was to Jalen Waddle, as we mentioned. Receiving-wise, Henry Ruggs out of Montgomery, Alabama, 5 receptions, 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was a career day for him. Jalen Waddle, as mentioned, 3 receptions, 138 yards. Jerry Jeudy finished with 2 receptions for 58 yards. Irv Smith, 1 reception for 13 yards. And Devontae Smith, 1 reception for 9 yards. Damian Harris, 1 reception for 6 yards. Looking at the defensive stats now, Deontay Thompson led the team in tackles once again, 7 total tackles. Josh McMillan getting some good reps as a second-team linebacker, 6 total tackles. Dylan Moses, 5 tackles. Trayvon Diggs got his first interception, finished with 4 tackles. Raekwon Davis, 4 tackles as well. Mac Wilson, Christian Miller, also with 4 tackles. And Quinnen Williams, 3 tackles, along with Keaton Anderson, Jared Maiden. Those are your defensive stats. Now, what we're showing right here, let me see if I can get you a better picture of this. Give me 1 second while I bring this up for you guys. All right, so it looks like we're looking at Tua's passing chart. So we'll look at this first, and then we'll go back and we'll look at some other stuff. We'll look at the defensive and offensive grades. This is Tua's passing chart through 5 games. So at the top left, these are passes over 20 yards. He's 4 for 6 in 95.8 with the blue background on the white text. That indicates that he's throwing to the outside left 20-plus yards at an exceptional level. That's NFL caliber. Down the numbers, 4 for 4, 190 yards with 2 touchdowns, 97.9. That is NFL type stuff at the college level. You do not see that. Outside right, 3 for 5, 92.0. That's extremely high still with 2 touchdowns and 87 yards. Across the middle, this is over 10 plus yards, 7 for 11. To the left, 70.2 66.1 grade, two completions out of 5 attempts. And if we look on that right side, 5 passes for 8 yards. It's pretty incredible to look at his passing directional chart and see the numbers that he is putting up. Really impressive numbers for Tua Tagovailoa this season. Now we're going to look at, these are the offensive grades for Alabama versus Lafayette. You have the far right number is their offensive grade. And this is a grading scale. 100 is the highest. And, it can go all the way. I haven't seen a grade lower than 40, for example. But if the player played exceptional, he's going to get a higher grade. And I have the grades listed on BamaInsider.com. It's all cleaned up. But right now it's just a snapshot of the overall grades. Total, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth column, that's a snap count the player played. So usually the higher the snap count and the higher the grade, the better the player fared overall. You look at a player that scored the highest on the team in week 5 was Jalen Waddle. Look at that, 95.8. He's a freshman. It's unbelievable that someone could perform at that level coming in their first year. Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, both very high grades. And how they grade it, it's just not all about completions. It's what the quarterback did, how he fared in drops, how he fared against pressure. Both of those quarterbacks fared out very well. Henry Ruggs, 93.4, did very well. Jedrick Wills really making improvement since the first game, 76.1. Lester Cotton as well, 80.5. He's a lineman that really doesn't get talked a lot about, but he's doing well. And we saw even Alex Otherwood with a 74.9 grade. Let's see if I can get these defensive stats up real quick. These are the defensive stats. And same thing, and the number on the far right is their defensive grade. The star indicates that the player started that game, and then the total is the total number of snap counts. So let's start with the top. Shaheem Carter, 46 snaps, the total, and his defensive grade was 66.1. Probably not something you want to see going against Lafayette. Patrick Surtain, who's now the starting cornerback as a true freshman, 71.3 grade and 42 snaps. Deontay Thompson didn't fare that well. It's surprising. This is probably his lowest graded game. Usually he's honestly up around the 90s. And but he did lead the team in tackles. Trayvon Diggs got his first pick, 77.6. Raekwon Davis led the team in total grades, 81.9. And then you have Quinnen Williams at 78.4 and Christian Miller at 76.1. So those are your grade outs against Louisiana Lafayette. I'm going to open up the line now, and I want to take your call on BamaInsider.com. I want to get your thoughts on this team. I want to get your thoughts on the quarterback situation. And FYI, we are talking to Tua Tagovailoa this Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So I will bring that video to you right here on the YouTube channel. We are talking to Tua for the first time since fall camp. And I'm sure everybody's really excited about that. And we got tons of coverage coming your way on BamaInsider.com. Let me open up the line and get you guys' call. And as I always tell you guys, when you guys call in, make sure your speakers are turned down so there's no echo in the background. So line is open now. If you guys want to call in, the call-in number, 205-686-3604. I want to take your calls regarding Alabama football. And while we wait for everybody to call in, I was dropping some stat bombs on BamaInsider.com. And this is kind of just a list of interesting stats that happened against Louisiana Lafayette. Pretty interesting takeaways. And I'll read those for you now while we wait for our callers. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has directed 35 drives this season. 24 of those have resulted in a touchdown. Tagovailoa is 17 of 21 on third down conversions this season. 17 of 21. It's unbelievable. Tagovailoa is, all right, we got our first caller tonight. All right, here we go. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson, who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling from?
This is Robert calling from Oakland.
Hey, how you doing tonight? You're on the line. Go ahead, shoot.
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering, with Tua, like you just said, not even playing in the fourth quarter or even throwing a pass, what do you think his chances of winning the Heisman? There were some impressive performances by other Heisman candidate quarterbacks yesterday who didn't play in the fourth quarter. What do you think is Tua's chances now and if Jalen playing so often, is that hurting his chances?
Yeah, I appreciate the call. And where are you calling in, by the way? I didn't get that part.
Oh, from Mobile.
Okay,
Alabama.
all right, nice. Okay, I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, he's still the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman at 3-1. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. And I'll tell you what, this two platooning quarterback isn't going to go away anytime soon because Alabama has. I mean, let's face it, they're not playing the toughest schedule right now, so you're not going to need Tua in four quarters of play. I mean, you're just not going to need him. I mean, coming up on the schedule, you have Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, LSU, Mississippi State. Now, maybe as we dip towards the later part of the season, you're going to start to see more of Tua. I don't know if this is really going to affect his play with the Heisman. Maybe it's going to because as we saw last night, Penn State and Ohio State, who also have Heisman candidates, same with Oklahoma, those guys are playing 4 quarters. Tua hasn't thrown a pass in the 4th quarter this season. Is it going to affect him in the Heisman? I'm not sure. Alabama's just winning. You know, when we talk to these guys, they're going to just say it's all about the team. It's all about the team. But the Heisman Trophy is certainly something special. Comes around once a lifetime for these players, and it's going to be interesting to see if the lack of reps for Tua affect not only Alabama but the Heisman Trophy. So I appreciate you calling in tonight. Thanks for calling in from Mobile. Good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling from? Hello? You're on the line. All right. Good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. You're on the line. Where are you calling from and who am I on the line with?
My name is Hunter. I'm from Harvard, Alabama.
Okay. Yeah, you're on the line, man. Go ahead. Shoot.
Oh yeah. So what did you want us to talk about tonight? Because I didn't catch that at the beginning of the program.
I mean, usually I throw up like a question. I mean, it's really kind of like an open forum tonight. So whatever stood out from the game on Saturday, I'd be willing to talk about. I mean, you could talk about, no 100-yard rushes since week 2. We could talk about Tua. We could talk about Jalen's play. So it's your show, man. Let me know what you want to talk about.
Well, 2 things. One, I thought Josh Jacobs did an amazing job this week. I think he's one of our better backs that we have. And I've liked him since we got him since last year. Really, he really took off last year, and so he did good with 2 touchdowns. And Jalen did very good. I'm starting to see some progress from him. If you watched his first good pass, he actually checked it down the field instead of looking down, and he didn't go one direction. He kind of checked it down like Tua does very naturally. So I thought that was a good upside from him going forward with him.
Do you have a problem with Jalen getting so many reps as the season progresses, or do you think this is important to build up these 2 quarterbacks?
I think we should give them both more reps. I think if I was the offensive coordinator, I would try to use both of them more, because Jalen, in those situations where we're getting trapped and getting a lot of pressure, he knows how to escape that pressure. He's instinctive in that way, as where Tua is instinctive on the passing game and making that check down the field really fast. So I actually would like us to play them both more. But that's just me.
What'd you think about the play of Jalen Waddle yesterday, the true freshman out of Houston, Texas?
You know what, man? I watched him on commitment day, flipped his commitment because he was committed to Texas A&M, and he flipped on National Signing Day. And I remember reading something about him where the Texas A&M recruiting people were talking about him, and they were saying how high Texas A&M was on him coming in, and he's been lights out since game 1. And that touchdown return, he reminds me of Javier Arenas. That's what that reminded me of this weekend.
Yeah, good calling, man. By the way, where you calling in from?
Hartford, Alabama.
Okay.
Near Dothan, Alabama.
Okay. All right, man. All right. Well, I appreciate the call. Call in next time. You always bring good stuff, man.
All right.
Appreciate the call. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Call-in number is 205-686-3604. Want to get your take on, and like the caller last said, what are we talking about tonight? It's your show. I want to talk what you guys want to talk about. Hey, good evening. You're on the line. It's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling from?
Hey, man, my name's Clayton. I'm calling from San Diego, California.
All right, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? West Coast.
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just watching your show on YouTube, man. You think anybody gonna win? Who messing with two on the Heisman? I mean, I know it's not. It looked like we're gonna go undefeated this year, man. I don't know, man. This is just an awesome team this year. I just want to hear what you had to say.
All right,
I guess.
I'll answer on the other line. Thanks, Clayton. Appreciate the call.
Thank you.
All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. You're on the line. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
It's Rex Manning, Helena, Alabama.
All right, good evening. How you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good, man.
Right.
Hey, you know, I didn't get to watch the game because it's on the SEC Network,
Okay.
but I've been watching the highlights over and over and over, everything I can find on it. Did you see Damian Harris?
Yes, I did. He had 5 carries for under 20 yards.
Well, what's up with that?
Well, I mean, that's kind of the question that I was asking. It's they're not using the running backs. They don't really need to use the running backs. I mean, their passing game is really unstoppable this year, and there's a lot of mouths to distribute to in the backfield. You got Najee, Bryan, Josh Jacobs, Jerome Ford, and Damian Harris.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw plenty of Josh Jacobs. So, I mean, I was sitting here tonight, because honestly, I had too much fun yesterday. And I'm watching the stuff that I missed yesterday, and I'm just like, where's Damian Harris?
Yeah.
But Josh, he's eating, every time he touched the ball, like he ate some.
Oh, yeah, and he looks really nice, by the way. Josh Jacobs looks like he's running possessed almost. I mean, it's really incredible to see him with the football. I don't know, what's going on with Damian because he's not getting a lot of carries, and I don't know if it's kind of part by design.
Well, hey, I'm kind of out of shape, and I can't play football like them boys do. But I will tell you this, Damian Harris has had kind of an air, a cockiness about him all year about coming back and not declaring for the draft last year. And I'm wondering if he's at his own demise this year. Is that something you've thought about?
I don't know. I mean, Damian, he certainly is one of the leaders of this team. He's so well spoken. I kind of have this hypothesis. Tell me what you think. I think that Damian, he's going to get he's going to try to get it to 1,000 yards, but they're also going to try to keep him fresh for coming back and to not ruin his chances of going into the NFL draft. He can't take a risk on getting hurt. I know he loves the college team. He loves to be here in Alabama. I mean, they got a lot of guys to feed, and Damian is probably just being the good teammate, and I don't know. I just think that Alabama is keeping him fresh.
I've just noticed in a lot of his interviews this year, he's been. I mean, man, I'm not down. I mean, the guy's a tremendous athlete, but he's been super cocky in a lot of his interviews, and it's almost. I don't know. I just wonder if maybe his attitude ain't in the right place, and maybe that's why he's not getting to touch the ball as much. I mean, you're saying like they just don't want to get him hurt, but why would we want to let why would Jacobs or not? You know what I mean? Those guys, they're in the same boat. They can't get hurt neither.
No, I could tell. I see where you're coming from because some of his interviews, they could come off as arrogance. But, I don't know the master plan behind it all. I think the thing is with Alabama's offensive coordinator, you're going to get all these people fed, keep all these guys fresh for the later part of the season. It'll be interesting to see if any of these running backs gets 15
I don't mean
carries.
Sorry,
no, you're fine.
Mike Locksley, when his back's up against the wall, I've noticed that he doesn't necessarily always come out with. Seems to me like he kind of stalls when we're in a situation. You see what I mean? I know we ain't been in many situations, but our situations at Alabama are a little different than other teams, But I'm just wondering if Mike Locksley is the guy for the job.
Cool. Well, thanks for calling in so much. Call in next time. I really appreciate the dialogue back and forth.
All right, bud. Have a good one.
All right, you too. I think Mike Locksley's doing a fantastic job. Did you guys know this? This is another kind of nugget from my stat bombs. This is the first time Alabama has racked up more than 500 yards of total offense in 5 consecutive games. It's never happened to Alabama before. By the way, the line is open, 205-686-3604. Call in, and we got another call, just like that. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
This is Dustin from Picayune, Mississippi.
All right, good evening, Dustin. How you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. Had a great Sunday. Thanks for asking. You're on the line. Go ahead, shoot.
Well, I just don't see how they're not going to give Tua the Heisman. The chart you put up earlier, just look at how he's distributing the ball. I mean, I've never really seen a college quarterback that could distribute in all phases such as he has.
Yeah, it's really incredible what Tua is doing right now through the season. 8 for 8 in the game, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he's done for the day. Never seen anything like it. I'll be interested to talk with him on Tuesday, and I'll bring that interview right here to Bama Insider. How do you feel about him getting, lack of reps? It's also part of the schedule, but how do you see it from a fan's perspective?
They're so good, he don't have to play in the fourth quarter. I've never seen a quarterback go 5 games and not play in the fourth quarter, like you said earlier. That's just, you never see that in college.
Yeah, it's something we never seen before, and it's going to be interesting to see if when Alabama's in a really tight game, if they're still going to 2 platoon later. And I don't think they're going to. I think Tua's the guy, and he's going to ride it out if Alabama does have to go 4 quarters, and it'll be interesting to see if Jalen plays in one of those tight games. But I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in tonight.
And also, before I get off the line with you, I don't see the arrogance in Damian Harris.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So, I think sometimes, Damian, he has to do so much media. I can only imagine, being kind of the senior spokesman for him, what he has to go through. But thanks for calling tonight. I appreciate it.
Have a good night, man.
Hey, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Can you please turn down your speakers in the background, please?
Yeah, let me turn it down a little bit. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, just turn down the speakers all the way. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So you're on the line. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is the Bama Hammer, calling out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, nice. Good to hear from you tonight. How's your Sunday?
Oh, it's great. I just wanted to kind of get some feedback on what's going on with the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah. So, what were your observations from Saturday's game against Lafayette?
Well, number one is I'm looking at all the games overall. I've got major concerns on the kicking.
Oh,
yeah. Got major concerns on the punting.
Oh, yeah.
I got major concerns on the offensive line push. Mm-hmm. It seems like I know Coach Saban, they move people around, but those guys to me need to be pushed back in their positions again. I'm talking about offensive linemen. And then another thing that concerns me is the defensive line. Those guys are not getting enough push, on the quarterback, man. I've got concern about that. And I know they bring in the pass rushers, but the bottom line is those guys are not really getting a lot of push until they get those defensive ends in.
Going back to your first concern about the kicking game, what is going on with Alabama? It's like A+ at every single position. And then Joseph Bolivas yesterday, after making a 47-yarder against Texas A&M, comes in yesterday and goes 0 for 2. That's unacceptable at this level, right? Would you agree with that?
Not only go for 0 for 2, but here's the thing that really bothers me about that. If you recall, he missed at 24 and 31. Yeah. Those are chip shots, man. Yeah. And so I know he's a freshman, but the bottom line is that he needs, and I know that Saban keeps saying, you know what, he's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. My concern is, we way ahead right now because we're playing these cupcakes.
Yeah.
But as you get down there to the LSUs, the Auburns, et cetera, and, even get into the semifinal championship game, you talk about you need these folks. And then the same thing with the punters. You averaging 30 yards a kick, that's not going to cut it. Mm-hmm. You're going to hurt the team in a sense. So this is what, I'm out on YouTube a lot. I said this today that I wrote out. I said one of the things they need to do is they need to go out. Saban needs to go out and get a transfer punter or even a Australian, rugby kicker, rugby kicker.
Yeah.
But something needs to take place before we get into the heart of the schedule.
No, I completely agree with you. I think a punter right now, you have another punter, a freshman punter in Skylar DeLong, who's really been struggling as well. We've seen, I think his average is like 36 yards per punt.
Right. That's
and like you
absolutely
said,
correct.
that's not going to fly against LSU. Imagine being in LSU Death Valley, pinned down on the 10-yard line, and you have to punt. He's not getting his punts out fast enough anyways. That could be, that could be detrimental to the overall game. These are major concerns, the special teams game. But on the flip side, you have the punt return and the kick return game, which look incredible.
Yeah, absolutely correct. But, and I go back and the major concern that we initially looked at, you remember everybody was concerned about the secondary. The secondary seems to be working, a little bit better now. And special teams have come up very well, have done very well, at least this past game, with the exception of the kicking game and the punting. But like I said, if, we get down there and start playing LSU, Mississippi State, and I know Mississippi State right now is floundering right now on their loss. But the bottom line is when you get down there and start playing these schools, and even looking at all these other schools, we don't even know if we're going to play. Everybody keeps talking about Georgia, but they need to look at Kentucky that's sitting out there. I watched that game last night, and they for real.
That little running back, something else, right?
Oh yeah, Snell. He's outstanding, and not only that, they kind of floundered at the end of the game. They kind of started relaxing and took the pedal off the accelerator. So they need to learn that because this is kind of new to them at this point of being 4-0 at this at this point in the season. So I just tell you this though, that I'm just kind of looking forward, and I watch every game. I actually go back on YouTube. I analyze every game and look at the plays, and I tell you what. During the game, man, I'm so hoarse at the end from screaming. I do more coaching than Coach Saban.
Hey, well, I sincerely appreciate you calling in on your Sunday. I hope you have a great start to your week, and please call again next time. This is a great dialogue. I sincerely appreciate it.
All right, not a problem. Have a blessed day.
All right, thank you very much. All right, call-in number is 205-686-3604. By the way, I've been wearing this. This is a gift from Mitch in Hawaii. This is authentic Hawaiian lei that he sent to me along with a gift box from Hawaii, which I am extremely grateful and humbled to wear on the show. I'll continue to do it for the rest of the season. Really grateful for that. It really meant a lot to me, honestly, to get a gift. Not only just to receive something, but from Hawaii. It's always a place that I've wanted to visit and experience the culture and to see what Tua's doing and how he's represented himself and his family throughout this season. I think has really spoke volumes, but about not only his family, but about the culture of the Islanders. And I can't wait to get out there. Same thing goes for Jalen, too. I think just like Saban said, after the game, how he's handled himself. This is a photo. I don't know if you guys saw this. This was after the game. Jalen's walking off the field, and I don't know. I just felt like this image really encapsulates the type of a player that Jalen is for this team, team first type of guy. And I think there was so much speculation before the season during these 4 games if he was going to leave, if he was going to take the Kelly Bryant option and bounce out and be more of a, put him first in this whole situation. But he's going to be here the entire season. And like him or not, it's better to have a quality number 2 quarterback than, be suspect on your backup quarterback. And not to take anything away from Mac Jones, but Jalen has a ton of experience. And I think that's something that Saban certainly wants as Alabama continues to make their push for yet another national championship. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. I appreciate all the call-ins. I really like to hear where everyone is calling from. We've had calls on the show from Hawaii, from New York, from Jacksonville, Florida, right here in Tuscaloosa. So we actually, one time I even got a voicemail from a caller in Germany. So that was pretty cool. I know we have a lot of German fans because the Mercedes-Benz manufacturing plant is right here in Tuscaloosa. And I actually have a bunch of friends now over in Germany, which is pretty cool. And it's been interesting to kind of mix with some German folk here in Tuscaloosa. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. I'll read you guys some more stat bombs as we cruise through the show. Alabama has racked up more than 500 yards in total offense for 5 games in a row, which is a Crimson Tide record, as I mentioned earlier. Alabama has scored more than 45 points or more in 5 consecutive games for the first time in school history. That offense is dangerous, right? Alabama has forced at least one turnover in their last 47 to 49 games, dating back to the 2015 season. Where were you in 2015? Also good numbers. Alabama has now won 22 games in a row at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The record, which is held in the mid-70s, was actually 24 games in a row. Mac Jones, 94-yard touchdown pass to Jalen Waddle, equals the second longest in school history. Team first, Jalen Waddle returned his first career punt for a touchdown against Lafayette in that 63-yard scamper. That was incredible. I watched that a bunch of times. Mac Jones threw his first career touchdown to Jalen Waddle, and as I mentioned, that was that 94-yard pass. Team leaders, as I mentioned, Najee Harris leads the team with 319 net yards as a running back. Josh Jacobs actually leads the team in rushing touchdowns with 5. Line is open if you want to call in, 205-686-3604. Jerry Jeudy leads the team in receiving with 423 yards. Deontay Thompson and Xavier McKinney each have 2 interceptions on the season. Deontay Thompson also leads the team in total tackles with 27, and Isaiah Buggs leads the team in sacks with 5.5. Check this out. This is the bizarre. Tua Tagovailoa has not thrown a pass in the fourth quarter in any game this season. Like, how is that even possible, right? All right, we got another caller. Awesome. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Kyle, this is Glenn. I'm calling from New Orleans.
Hey, man. You know what? Okay, before we start, Glenn, I want to say how much I love New Orleans. I got to go there last year for the Sugar Bowl, and I never really knew anything about New Orleans. These are my takeaways. I love the music. I love the food. I love the nightlife. I love New Orleans. So I can't wait to get back there. So I'm really glad you called in. But you're on the line, so go ahead, shoot.
Hey, I'm just really impressed on what we're doing with our wide receivers, the super sophomore Moores and Jalen Waddle. But my question is, I guess the talent behind them. I would love to see Tyrell Shavers eat a little bit more and some development for some of those wide receivers beyond the top 4. Any thoughts on that?
You know what? A lot of people have asked about Tyrell Shavers. He's our 6'6", 210-pound redshirt freshman, and I appreciate the call again. He's been used a couple times this season. To be honest, I've seen him a couple times at practice drop a couple passes. That's not to say they're not going to target him, but I think like you said, there's a lot of mouths to feed at the running back position, at the receiver position, and part of this is Alabama is scoring at such a high frequency in such short time that they don't spread it out. You're not going to see a lot of receivers with even 6 receptions, 7 receptions. You're seeing these guys, like, for example, I'm looking at the stats right here. Leading receiver had 5 receptions for 116 yards. Jalen Waddle, 3 receptions, 138 yards. So it's not like they have time to target a lot of these guys because these guys are burners. I mean, you have Ruggs, you have Waddle, you have Jeudy, Devontae Smith. These are, like you said, this sophomore group is fantastic. And getting the ball spread out, it must be very difficult for these guys.
Yeah, I guess we're having rich man's problems. But
exactly.
Hey, I appreciate what you do.
Hey, thank you so much, and also wanted to compliment New Orleans on one more thing. That World War II museum is unbelievable. So thank you.
It's one of the best museums in the country.
Unbelievable.
Look forward to your next visit.
All right, thank you so much. Talk soon. All right, good evening. You're on the line. This is Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Mike from Kentucky. I called about a week ago.
Yeah, good to hear from you, Mike. How is your Sunday going?
Oh, it's going well.
All right, good to
hear. I just want to comment on this year's team.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's different. You know, I've been watching Bama football since the Bear Bryant, Shug Jordan era, and you know, I'm just so used to watching an Alabama team with a punishing running game by committee that this Air Bama is just unbelievable. But there are some advantages to it. Obviously, you can't abandon the run game. But as far as keeping the O-line healthy and rested, it takes a lot more energy to run block than pass block. And I think late in the season, our O-line is going to be in much better shape.
Wow.
And I think the run game is going to kick it up in November.
I think you bring up a great point. I mean, all this up-tempo is going to get these linemen in shape, and then if this team has to ground and pound, these guys are going to be ready to do it. I think that's an exceptional point. Someone who I think has really improved, and what are your thoughts on him? Jedrick Wills, now in his sophomore season. Have you been impressed with him this season?
Well, yes, I have, and I'm really glad that Chance Womack's back in the lineup as well. I think our left guard's still having some issues, but he's doing his best. I'm really another guy that I think's made some really big strides in the last game or two is Dalen Moses. He's starting to really show some. At first last year, I think he played tentative. He wasn't sure of himself, but he's starting to stick his head in there like Reuben Foster used to and make some doorstop tackles. And I think his game's progressing very nicely, and I think he'll be a beast by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, Dylan Moses, I think he's got that next-level linebacker circled. I mean, it's pretty incredible to think that this is only his second year playing because he's playing right next to Mac Wilson at a very high level. So I completely agree with you. So sometimes when you look at these Pro Football Focus grades and see that he's graded out a little bit low, I wouldn't read too much into that because I think he's an NFL player. And like you said, he's the next big-time inside linebacker at Alabama, so enjoy him while he's here. Anything else while you're on the program? Anything else that stood out from Saturday?
I just wanted to give a roll tide to you to all the fans out there listening to your show, and I really enjoy it, and I want to get off so somebody else can have a chance to talk.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling in.
You have a good night.
You too. All right, good call. Like our calls from Kentucky. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. Had a great show tonight. It's going great, so keep calling in. How about this for Alabama? I mentioned this a couple times on the show. They've had just one 100-yard rusher this season. That was Najee Harris back in week 2. That's got to surprise a lot of fans who are that old school Alabama fan who aren't used to this up-tempo score within 50 seconds. I mean, it's quite incredible that only one 100-yard rusher. And this past week, it was Najee Harris was 75 yards. All right. Good evening. It's Kyle Henderson, who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Rob in Colorado.
Hey, what's up, Rob? How you been, man? How was your Sunday?
Good. Went to the Rockies game. Down just chilling, drinking a beer, while watching some Monday Night Football.
The last time I was out in Colorado, I'm not a big beer guy, but I had Coors Light on draft, and I've had it before, of course. But on draft, it was pretty. I mean, I could taste the Rockies. I was like, man, the Rockies are in this out here. But so what's up, Rob? What'd you think of yesterday, man? Alabama just kind of did you fall asleep during the game?
I'm not as excited. Okay, I'm always excited to see Bama play, no matter who it is. But I was more excited for the Texas A&M game than I was for the Lafayette game. It was just,
Are Alabama fans bored? Tell me the truth. Are you guys bored? Because the student section wasn't
because
there.
We all love seeing Tua. We love seeing the new players, Surtain. We love the team. It's just that particular game, that was bad, man. Like they didn't belong on the field, man. That was bad.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. It's important to get all these reps for all these guys to build up the depth, but I would really like to see. I still like. Yes, this team is unbelievable. They're rolling at every single level, but when's the first time we're gonna see these guys in a true street fight? I guess LSU, right?
We're gonna be in a street fight against LSU, but LSU showed me some things against Ole Miss and Louisiana Tech at home.
Yeah,
struggling. Alex, I think we might blow them out. Now, I'm not saying they won't score a point, but their offense is slow and stagnant.
Yeah,
from what I've seen.
And you know what? I love these grades, and I probably read more into them than I should. But LSU grades, like if you compare LSU grades to Alabama grades, oh man, it could be bad. When you look at Ohio,
really?
Yeah, I'm serious. When you look at Ohio State, these are the teams that scare me. if I'm an Alabama fan. Ohio State, their defensive line, woo! Their defensive line grades out so well each week. Saw them play last night against Penn State. That game was a thriller. Clemson, they grade out grade out well, but Georgia also. So I think Georgia, Ohio State are the two teams. LSU. The thing I think about LSU though is that game in Baton Rouge. I mean, and that's gonna be tough. Ed Orgeron, that's his Super Bowl. Is Alabama.
Yes, and you know what? That's okay. It's his Super Bowl, but I'm telling you, dude, Nick Saban, they're gonna have that team so prepared to win. I wanted to ask you a question though.
Yeah.
I was one of the people who was like, "What's Nick Saban doing?" Because remember, he kept saying it was a quarterback competition in the off season.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what's he doing? Yada yada yada. Fast forward to now, he's a genius. Nick Saban is a genius. Look at how he handled Hurts, and look at how Dabo Swinney handled Bryant. All Dabo had to do was let Bryant start. Start him for 3 minutes. Start him for a first quarter. Just start him. You know, on your back, got the Elite 11, Trevor Lawrence. Don't Trevor Lawrence. The senior, he waited 2 years to stop behind Watson. Waited. I all know Trevor Lawrence is a better passer. I'm not denying that.
Hey man, we had to cut you off, Rob. Your self service went down, man. But good calling overall, and I think you're absolutely right. Nick Saban handled this quarterback situation like a complete pro, and everybody should look towards Nick Saban, of course, the guy who's playing chess out here where everybody else is playing checkers. 205-686-3604. Didn't mean to cut you off, Rob, but the cell service dropped on your end. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. A couple more stat bombs while we wait for our next callers. And the highest graded players from this last game. All right, here we go. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson, who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Trey from Atlanta.
Hey, what's up, Trey? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about you?
All right, good, man. You're on the line. Go ahead, shoot.
So I guess just looking down the road, looking at the schedule, Tua really doesn't have much to worry about. I mean, we have Missouri in October, but the schedule really doesn't get juicy till November. So in terms of like Heisman hopes, I don't know. Do you think that's a problem? He's not going to be able to put up big numbers as, Haskins from Ohio State and, Kyler Murray had a good week. And also my last question would be, would you know the reason why Tua isn't talking to the media? Is that like, some type of method to keep the hype down?
Yeah.
I just want to hear your feedback on that.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'll answer on the other line, okay? I appreciate the call from Atlanta.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Atlanta. I love to go to Atlanta, and big fan of the city. By the way, just in from our team reporter Tony Tsoukalis, this is news regarding Alabama safety Deontay Thompson. Remember, he had that court trial for an incident that he was. It was a court case that he had to go to. He was granted a continuance, and that means they're moving the trial back. So we'll have more on that on BamaInsider.com. But Deontay Thompson, Alabama's top safety, has been granted a continuance for his trial. So we'll have more on that on BamaInsider.com. It's just some news that came in from our team writer, Tony Tsoukalis. But getting back to the last caller's question, why isn't Tua talking to the media? Well, that's a good question. I mean, that's something that us in the media have been asking, UA Athletics about. And I think, they've had to handle this quarterback situation very delicately. And as Nick Saban said, this has never really happened before. This doesn't mean that Tua is not capable of speaking to the media. In fact, as you'll see on Tuesday when we do talk to him for the first time, just how well-spoken and articulate Tua is. I mean, he handles himself really well, and I'm sure everybody's really excited to see Tua speak to the media, and that'll be Tuesday, and I'll have that video as quick as we can right here on our YouTube channel. So be sure and stay tuned for that. I know there's a lot of excitement for Tua. Line is open, 205-686-3604. Want to get your call. The top offensive grades for this past week against Lafayette. Jalen Waddle, who checked in at a screaming 95.8. Henry Ruggs, 93.4, his biggest game of the season. Remember last year for Henry Ruggs, he caught 5 passes. They were all touchdowns. That was that was crazy. And glad to see he's still doing big things right now. Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa both had a grade of 92. And the top defensive grades, Raekwon Davis, 81.9. Quinnen Williams, 78.4. Trayvon Diggs, 77.6. Xavier McKinney, I didn't know how good he was going to be this season, but I think he's proven to be very dependable, a playmaker, ball hawk. He has 2 interceptions this season through 5 games, 76.8 grade by Pro Football Focus, and he's done exceptional this year. I've really been pleased with his performance through these first 5 games. Number to call in, 205-686-3604. Give you guys a few more minutes to call in. And here's the schedule for this coming week on BamaInsider.com. So on Monday, I'm going to bring you Nick Saban's press conference. That'll be at 12 p.m. Central Time. We'll, of course, have more coverage on BamaInsider.com, a couple stories from our team writer, Tony Sakalas, and more recruiting news with Andrew Bone of BamaInsider.com. Andrew will have his next recruiting show this coming Friday. Those have been his time slots that we've been bringing you his recruiting show. And during his recruiting show, he gives you the full scoop on everything Alabama football recruiting related. And if you've missed one of his shows, you can find his shows right here on our YouTube channel. On Tuesday, we're going to bring you Tua Tagovailoa's first interview with the media since fall camp. I know everybody's really excited to hear from Tua on this exceptional season that Tagovailoa has been having for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And on Wednesday, we will have practice highlights from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we'll also have Nick Saban's press conference before Alabama heads to Arkansas, and then Alabama will take on Arkansas on Saturday. Game time is 11 o'clock. Alabama is a 35-point favorite. As I always do towards the end of the show, I want to thank our members in the United States military, past or present. We certainly appreciate what you do for this great country. So a civilian salute from our staff to you. Thank you so much. My brother-in-law, we're real proud of him. He's been in the service for over, I think, close to 15 years in the National Guard and done 2 deployments. And we're really proud of him and, what he's done for this country. So I know there's a lot of veterans that are out there, and we certainly, we don't forget you. And we know, what a privilege it is to be here in the United States of America. From Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this is the BamaInsider.com live stream. The number to call in is 205-686-3604. You guys can always call in and leave a voicemail. I'll play it on the show. Thank you very much for calls tonight. It was a great show. I really like to get the feedback. Every time before I come on the show, I'm not sure, how many call-ins we're going to get. But I think as we continue to grow the show, hopefully it becomes something that you guys can depend on Thursday and Sunday to look forward to and call in and feel comfortable to call in. Don't be embarrassed to call in. It's your show. Want to talk with you guys. Right. How you doing, sir? Could you please turn down the speaker in the background?
I just did.
All right, appreciate it. You're on the line. It's Kyle Henderson. Where are you calling in from?
Selma, second time caller.
All right, cool. Making your way back around. So you're on the show. Go ahead, shoot, man.
I just wanted to say that Alabama's doing really good, despite what people are saying about our record. I don't get that. I mean, I'm not a AD. I don't make the schedule, so I'm just a fan. I love the game. That's all.
Are you?
And hello?
Yeah. I'm still here. Are you? I was gonna ask you. Is it from a fan's perspective? Is it just incredible just to see what Tua has done through 5 games?
Well, for one thing, I said it before he even started. I said it after he took the field in the national championship game that Hurts would never start, for the Tide again. So I already knew what he was going to do. I just didn't realize it was going to be on this level. He's in Heisman candidate, all right? He's already got, over 1,000 yards?
Yep, he does. No
in 4
interceptions.
games.
Yeah.
And not to mention Ruggs, Judy, and Smith are racking up, scores left and right. And I mean, it's hard to say if Alabama can be stopped by anybody. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. I mean,
Yeah. These guys are certainly rolling, and I like what you said. Judy, Ruggs, and Smith. It sounds like a law firm, right? Judy, Ruggs, and Smith of Alabama.
they call it three-headed monster. They got more names, but I like the three-headed monster.
The
That's my
three-headed
favorite one.
monster coming for you. So
And what I like about our offense is that another defense doesn't know what or who's going to get the ball. We got 3 running backs that can run the ball. We got 3 wide receivers that can catch the ball.
You got
Plus, we got Waddle.
Yeah, you got
Waddle is special.
Yeah. Waddle baby. Yeah, he's something special for sure. So thank you so much for calling in the show. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Right.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. All right. If you guys still want to call in, I'll still talk with you guys. We can talk as long as you guys want. 205-686-3604, number to call in. And tomorrow's a big day. Nick Saban will have his press conference. I think we all get smarter when Nick Saban speaks on the podium. Do you guys agree? Like when you're listening to his press conference, I'm like, oh yeah, it's making sense. Everything's like starting to click for you. I love to listen to his press conferences. I'm a big fan of Stoic philosophy, and I think some of the points that Nick Saban hits on, are right up there. So Nick Saban, the philosopher, maybe too far, but still good stuff. I will close the show out right now, but thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you guys had a good time talking Alabama football. Thanks again to Mitch from Hawaii, from LA. I'm really proud to wear it, and I'm really humbled that you would think of me and send that out to me. I hope you guys had a great time tonight. You guys are a great crowd, and thanks for all the call-ins. Love to talk Alabama football with you guys. And remember, if you want to call in, don't be embarrassed. Call in. It's your show. I'll talk whatever you guys want to talk Alabama football. You guys have been such a great crowd, and the call-ins are wonderful. So let's continue to build this show. And if you guys have some feedback, good or bad, post it on the show. I want to develop a good product for you guys so we can move forward and make this thing really big. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. But until next time, my friends, it's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Catch all our coverage, and if you're interested about being a premium subscriber, go on to BamaInsider.com and look for the free 30-day trial. My email is kyle@BamaInsider.com. Have a great night, my friends. Be good people, and I'll catch you soon on BamaInsider.com. See ya.